Welcome to the Solidity Insurance Group team call. My name is Marisa Maggio, and today is April 24th of 2025 already. So we're already through quarter one and kind of in quarter two. Really excited today. I know I say this every week, but we really do have a special guest on with us today. Somebody who's near and dear to my heart in terms of has helped me out in ways that I don't even think he realizes in the industry, has helped give me feedback at different events, has calmed my nerves and vice versa when we went up to speak, things of that sort. But somebody who I've learned so much from being here at Family First Life. So we have Gary Ahlberg on the call with us today. Gary, how are you doing? Now we do need you to unmute.
There we go. All right, we're good. Hey, thank you guys for having me. You guys are freaking awesome. I love joining calls with you guys. So I learn goes both ways. I learn a lot from you guys, definitely, for sure.
For sure. We appreciate you taking the time out. And Gary, just to kind of hit it off for those folks out there that maybe don't know you, haven't got to know you yet, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you were doing prior to insurance, and kind of what got you into the industry.
So I started out, I got a certificate to get my license for motorcycles, right? To turn wrenches, be a mechanic. Nothing special, right? Started doing that. I got kind of sick of the grind. I was working at a dealership, probably multiple dealerships for probably over the course of like 13, 14 years. And it was a grind and you have to work your way up. And obviously, it took some time and a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of that stuff, so a lot of the grind, doing that. And then I think eventually I just kind of had my tipping point of like, okay, I worked from service and then I had something happen where I broke my arm, broke my wrist, and then I ended up working in parts department. The money was a lot better, right? So I was kind of working more in a sales environment, still working 60 plus hours, easy. And then ended up working in sales for like maybe my last couple years, 2, 3 years, started running the dealership. And then I was like, my last year I still made 100,000. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still broke. Right. So at the end of the day, I couldn't even still really pay my bills. And then I was like, kind of ran into this opportunity, saw my in-laws down in Florida. Right. And I ran into Eric Anthony that I was working with at the time at the dealership, which he left about 3 years ago. And I kind of saw what he was doing and what the opportunity did for him for those last 3 years. I'm like, holy crap, this really happened. I'm like, give me my license. I quit. I'm going back. I'm gonna pass my course and I quit my job in 30 days, which is exactly what I did. So
I love it. So you were just kind of like you were in kind of like a rat race, so to say, for lack of a better term.
hmm
You're making good money, but 100 grand nowadays, I always say 100 grand is like 50 grand, how it used to look on paper with the economy
yeah.
and things like that. You started running the dealership essentially, but you were working a lot of hours a week. You weren't working like 30 hours and hanging out. You were working like 80 hours and busting it, right? So just
Yeah.
kind of got heavy. You met Eric, you saw he had been doing well. You already knew Eric from the past, if I'm not mistaken, and you were
hmm
like, let's just get this thing rolling. And that's what you did. 30 days, you were up, you were rolling. So that's awesome. I love how you just went
Yeah.
all in. You bet on yourself and it says a lot about you.
hmm
Now, I know that you had mentioned to me when I saw you out at Sean's event, and it really hit me because I think that in this business, we all get hit with different things at different times. And that's for a reason that sometimes we can recognize at that time, sometimes we can't, right? And that either way, that's cool. But think we have our seasons in the business, right?
Yeah.
And when I had saw you, you mentioned to me, hey, when I came out of convention this year, I was really excited about building. And I thought that that was really cool because sometimes we give up a little bit in this area. It could be on the personal producing, it could be on the building side, it could be on your side hobby side. But the point is you decided you were going to go all in on yourself. So, Gary, talk to us a little bit about what happened at convention, kind of what maybe epiphanies, for lack of a better term, you may have had, and why
Yeah.
you think they maybe came about.
Yeah. So I kind of slouched, right? And I knew coming into convention, I was like, I got to go to convention. I had always had that fire, and I came to convention because I knew I didn't perform to what I could do, right? And I think it was a lack of getting comfortable, right? So I think a lot of it was I got in this comfort zone of like, okay, I've been doing this for 3 years. I'm like, it's comfortable, and I'm like, I'm making good money, and I'm like, oh, I'm laid back. I just had a kid that year, right? So that was awesome. And I think it just got a little bit comfortable and kind of like I was comfortable where I was, but I wasn't, right? So then I came into convention, I'm like, holy crap, how did I let my standards fall down so far, right? Like I hit the Hall of Fame in the last 2 years, right? Which it was all on me. It was like I just underperformed. And it was just a lack of laziness, you know? So I still showed up to the office. Did I put in as much dials as I could have? No, right? I always could have put more. And I think once I saw that at convention, I was like, dang, I wasn't up there for my third year Hall of Fame. I wasn't three-peat and you know what I mean? Doing it back to back to back. It kind of like made me realize, like, dang, what the heck am I doing? You know? So, seeing all these people too, and a lot of people reaching out, I think it made a lot more like, why am I not sharing this opportunity of what this did to me 3 years ago? It's like I kind of forgot where I came from. And I'm like, holy crap, Gary, like you're gonna get there and then you're just gonna let it all fall apart, right? And get in a comfort zone and not live up to your standards and not like raise the bar like you wanted to do from day one. But now it's like you kind of had a little setback. It's like, how are you gonna bounce back from it? Right. So going into it, I was like, okay, what am I going to do this year? Like, I got to do something. I got to change something. I got to share the opportunity, right? And I care more so much about this business. I'm fired up every day, right? I come in the office every single day. I love it. It's just like this business changed my life, you know? So it's like, how do I get out there and change it for other people and people that were in the same circumstance I was, how do I make that impact on them, you know? And I was like, okay, the bar is the Hall of Fame. Like you got to do Hall of Fame numbers, right? You got to show people how to do it, right? And that's my biggest thing. It's like I'm not trying to learn something, people that are underperforming. I'm trying to learn at the high level. I want to get better. I want to get better every day, right? I can always get better. And so I kind of came out of there and I'm just like, I'm just fired up, right? So I came out of convention. I'm just like, I'm ready to go. So now it's like this year, it's like it's a whole different thing. So I'm setting up business overview meetings every single week where we do like a Zoom call. Tonight we have one at 8 o'clock. And it's like the requirement is every single week, you got to bring at least 3 to 5 people every single week, right? Like that's the standard, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why we do the BOM meetings is like, hey, it's an easy recruit, right? It's easy to explain it. Hey, it's a 5-minute call, right? You know, John, see what you're doing. I see you're looking at opportunities. You're like, hey, how do I get better? This call maybe for you, hop on this call. They're going to explain the business within 30 minutes or less. It's a lot easier to get it out to more people, right? So that's like our set goal. We're setting a standard goal. We're doing like a mastermind call every Monday morning that we try to just get everybody fired up. So I think a lot of it too is like, hey, I don't want to let people down either and let myself down again this year, right? Because especially since of like how I came out of convention, I'm like, dang, I got to do better, right? So kind of
I
how it
love
is.
that.
That's how we're going. We're projectiling up. That's it. So
Yeah, and Gary, I think it's important too to like for every like all of anyone on this call, like guys, if you're going to be in this industry, there's going to be years that you reflect back, just like Gary did, just like I have in the past, just like we all should, to be honest. And you're going to be like, hey, I got to change this. And if you're not, you're just simply not evolving in the business. So it's like that's not even exciting, dude. And you hit on so many different things, Gary. I just got to recap a couple of them because it's like, okay. You went to convention, basically, you're like, I need convention more than convention needs me right now, right? Is that fair to say?
definitely. Oh,
Yep.
definitely.
So
Easy.
you got there, like, we're not confused. Gary can sell insurance at a high level. He's hit Hall of Fame twice. He was like, I'm not going to hit it for the third time, but I'm not going to not go to convention because I didn't hit
Hmm.
Hall of Fame, right? That would be childish. I'm going to go so I can acquire more skills, come back, do my thing, and whatever that means, right? But I'm going to go there to repack my toolkit, so to say. Got comfortable where we're at. The biggest thing in this business, guys, that can mess us all up, including me, is including like Sean Mike, guys, like it doesn't matter who you are, is getting complacent. That can be complacent that you're making $20 million a month, or that can be complacent that you're making $20 a month, right? But we go from making X amount of dollars, a month to making this larger figure if we're working at a good scale or the way that we should be. And it can get comfortable, right? Gary's like, I had a kid, which is awesome, by the way, dude. Like, like that's
Hmm.
amazing. You're able to provide for your child at that much, higher of a level, so to say, which I'm sure feels great. But then you're like, I forgot where I came from. Now, I think that this is huge, guys. A lot of us try to like mask our past. And to be honest, I think it's like really weird. I think we should be
Hmm.
able to just get up there and be like, hey, like, This is what, like, that's just who I am. I can't change anyone else's personality. But my point is you can't forget where you came from. Gary, I'm sure you remember when Sean was up at the Millionaire Maker, session, he had said something along the lines of, down here in Southern Florida, everybody's fake rich,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, it's weird. Like everyone wants to be like, and like we know we've been down there plenty of times, right? But then it's
Hmm.
like, I live in Mass, you live in Connecticut, we're both in the Northeast sector. He said something along the lines of, in Connecticut, we don't do that. Like we don't act like we're rich if we're not rich. Like same thing in Mass, guys. Like I'm not gonna act like I'm rich if I'm not rich. You're not gonna see me posting a Lamborghini like on my Instagram unless it's my damn Lamborghini. Like you just ain't gonna see
Hmm.
me posting it. So not forgetting where you came from. I think that that's huge. Because if I didn't have this industry, guys, I don't know where I would be at. I don't know where Gary would be at. But my point is we don't forget where we came from. And when we do, sometimes that can put us in a hole. So don't ever forget where you came from. Bounce back to me. I think that's the funnest part in this industry, Gary, is the opportunity to be able to bounce back, right? Not
Hmm.
in every industry are we able to be like, oh, we're going to show up tomorrow and do better. It's like, should we be giving our best every day? Sure. But sometimes the best we can that day isn't necessarily the best we can perform. So bouncing back is huge. And then sharing the opportunity. Gary, you're in the office. Every time I talk to you, I see the same background, which is a good thing. You're in your office, like that. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
So, like, kudos because you show up to your office, right? And it's
Hmm.
like, that that changed your life. Therefore, why would you not share, right? Sometimes people will be
Hmm.
like, oh, showing my commission statement is bragging. No, showing your commission statement is showing your friend, hey, I actually really did make this money and here it is in my bank account. Like, it's not bragging, guys. You're just sharing an opportunity. And just like Gary kind of wrapped with, so to say, prior to the BOM part, is like, how can I get other people that were in my situation? Guys, we were all in a situation prior to coming into life insurance. We all were. How can you get people that were in your situation in a better situation? Gary's asking himself that question right now and he's working on it. I love the
Hmm.
BOMs. Are you guys doing it on the phone or on Zoom?
We'll do Zooms because we're like we got people all over the place. So it's
That
like
makes
it's tough
sense.
to do them in person. And we didn't
Yeah.
want to do them like once a month. We want to do them like once a week. And like, hey, this is the standard, right? Because if we can get each of us, and there's like 5 or 6 of us that do it, that bring people in there, and usually we'll average anywhere from like 30 to 40 people total, right? So obviously, and it when we get them on the Zooms, it's like, hey, it may be something for you, it may not be, right?
Right.
So it's like there's no pressure. It's just like, hey, this may be an opportunity for you. This may better your situation. This may help you, right? Take a look at it, right? It changed my life. I hope it changes yours, right? So then you kind of give them that, and it's like the pressure's off. It's like just hop on and listen. Simple,
Right.
you know?
Easy place to point people that might be interested in the opportunity without a high pressure, like, Gary, are
Yep.
you joining or what? Right. So love that. And I love how there's 5 or 6 of you. Like you said, when you're doing something collectively, you hold
Hmm.
yourself that much more accountable.
Oh,
And,
definitely.
just like you said here on the call, you were like, we have to have 3 to 5 people on it each week. Now, do you actually have to? No.
Yes.
But like, do you have to stay in the BOM group? Yes, right? If
Yes.
not, you're getting
Yeah.
kicked out, right?
Hmm.
And that's
Obviously,
just
there's
because you're not pulling your
circumstances.
weight. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Gary.
exactly.
Talk a little bit on that.
No, I'm sorry. So, yeah, a lot of it is like, hey, it's just we're setting a standard, right? Like, obviously, things happen, things come up, but like that's the standard. We're not going to let you slack. Like, this is going to hold you accountable, right? Well, like, I want to be held accountable because if I'm starting to
100%.
slip, I want someone to tell me that. You know what I mean? I don't want
Yep.
them to let me slip as I don't want them to slip either.
100%. And when you're looking out for other people and yourself, it just, again, is that much more, you're that much more committed and there's that much more camaraderie. So I love that. And guys, anyone out there that's like, what's a BOM? It's a business overview meeting. It's just an overview of the company. Guys, we do that one Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern. So just so y'all are rocking with us, really
Hmm.
similar, but I love how you're doing it with an intimate group. And then again, we're explaining the opportunity in 30 minutes or less, right? If somebody can jump
Hmm.
on that, Gary, by the end of that, they're like, I want to be in, I want to be out, I got a couple of
Yep.
questions. How do I get started? Right? That's typically what
Exactly.
you're getting after that.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And it makes it a lot easier too. It's like you could talk to a group versus individually having to spend an hour talking to every single individual person. It's like, hey, just get on the call and listen, and we're going to just show you A through Z of the whole company and then ask questions as you need them. Right. So it makes it a little easier.
100%. And like that's how you collapse time frames, guys, in the business. It's like you can't spend like Gary, if you spent an hour and a half on the phone with everybody you tried to recruit, like you wouldn't have any time to do anything else, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
And you would be like, this is awful. So it's like, oh, it's a great way to get everybody together. With that five or six of you, it's about leverage, guys. You're leveraging each other too. There's more than one voice on there. You got Gary doing it one week, you got, Nick doing it another week. So like it's fun and
Hmm.
it's exciting. Now, with that being said, a lot of FFL's theme right now is talking about like, hiring the right people, right? I think
Hmm.
that Gary, you were here when, we hired anyone with the pulse. At least I would say I hired anyone
I
with the
was,
pulse.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I was there for that. And we all make mistakes, guys. Okay. Now, with that being said, Gary, when you're talking to folks, you're plugging them in, they're like, hey, what are some of the things that you are like, I definitely need to make sure they can do this or do this before I know I want to work with them.
So a lot of it too, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna go over the good, the bad, the ugly. So you're gonna hear everything, right? I'm like, hey, the good things, obviously, you're gonna get paid really well. Like the money is a byproduct of this, right? So if you really actually do want to serve people, you want people to win. It's like it's always gonna come around. If you do the right things in this business, it's always gonna come back 2x at least back to you, right? So that's my mentality in this business. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do everything and I'm going to match the same exact effort that you put in, right? If you're going 60 hours, I'm going with you too, right? We're going to be there. I'll be there. I'll answer the phone. You call me at 9 o'clock on a night on a Saturday, I'm going to answer the phone, right? So that's the good of it. You're going to, if you work your tail off, right? The bad is, hey, there's chargebacks, right? Like with anything. Walmart, every single year, they're cutting their losses of what's stolen in Walmart, right? They know they're going to get stolen, stuff's going to be stolen about X amount every single year. Everything has chargebacks, right? What does it cost to? Just a cost of doing business, right? So same thing with pizzas. Oh, I got to buy bread. I got to buy pepperonis. I got to buy this. You don't sell all your materials. You don't sell all the pizza. Some of it you have to throw away. Consider that like a chargeback, right? So I tell people that that's just a part of doing business. We get paid so well to help a lot of people, and the chargebacks will happen, right? Obviously, the better you get, the less it'll be, but that's the bad part of it, right? And I be as transparent as I possibly can. And I'm like, but if you're willing to work hard, really put all of it into this, the reason why most people fail in this business is because they quit. They get a little rocky road. You will ride a roller coaster. You're gonna get the ups and downs, right? You're gonna be, hey, I deposited 5 grand, and then you're gonna get the days where you get nothing but chargebacks and nothing but people calling you, complaining, and telling you F off to get off the phone. It's gonna
Sure.
happen. So you got to ride those roller coasters. And it's like how monotone it is. It's like every single day I come in fired up, whether I have a chargeback of 3 grand or I got paid 5 grand. You never know because I keep it the same every single day.
That's
So I
right.
think that's a big part of it, of how you explain it to people. And it's like, hey, dude, you're going to eventually get through it. And once you go through those hard times like that, you're going to ride the hard times. They're going to happen, right?
Mhm.
But next time it happens, you already know you can get through it.
That's right.
Right? So
Yeah.
I always treated everything the same, right? And a lot of why I slacked last year was like, oh, okay, man, I had a really good week. I sold 3 policies. I helped 3 people before 12 o'clock. I'm going to go golf. That's bad. Like, why am I doing that? I never did that the full 3 years that I started in this. And then all of a sudden I started slacking, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like it just showed to myself, like, Gary, what are you doing? You could take it to that next gear. You have that extra gear, take it there. Stop
Right.
slouching. Now you're like your comfort. Okay, you get a little better. Do great things with it, right? Help other people with that. All that time that I had, I could show 3 other people how to sell, policies and make $20,000 a month, right? So I think a lot of it was like, hey, Gary, you just got to put in a little more. You got to do it, spread it. Don't be greedy with the opportunity just because you're doing really well. Don't share it and don't tell anything about it. Like this opportunity is just crazy, and I'm ecstatic about it. And I love this industry because there's so many ways and actually helping people. And I think if you put that first with everything, like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm trying to do the best by you. The client's on the phone, right? Someone needs leads. I'm going to give you leads because it's always going to come around. And I think when you treat money as the byproduct, it's going to be the byproduct of it, and you treat the people first, money will always come, you know?
100%. Absolutely. And I
So,
think that like that's huge. Like the money being a byproduct, like I can't even dive into that any more than like you just did. But guys, it's like if you're just here for the money, you ain't gonna be here long. Like just
no.
period and like unfortunately. But if you care about people, you want to help other people, and like that's actually like what like your heart wants to do, like you will be here and you'll do great things. Now, I love how you said when you're introducing someone to the company, like I used to be like, this is why you should work at Family First Life. We have the best
Hmm.
leads, the highest comp. We don't have a contract. Like, I'm ripping off like all the great things about it, right? But I
Yeah.
wasn't ripping off like, and chargebacks happen, and we get advanced 9 months. They're paying
Hmm.
you up front. They don't owe you anything if the client doesn't pay, right? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't explaining that, but now just like you're saying, we're explaining the good, the bad, the ugly, the worst scenarios, so to say. And I think when you can put that in somebody's face, so to say, in the beginning, and they're still making that decision, well, you know what, Gary, I still want to get started. You're like, I'm all in with you then, dude. Like, let's do this thing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's exciting. I love how you said you're gonna match them, right? Like I always say that to people, if you give me 100%, I'm gonna give you 100%. But if you give me 5%, like I might give you 0% because I just don't know where you're at. Like, I
Yeah.
can't help somebody that I don't know what you're doing. In the chargeback piece, it's a cost of doing business, period, right? Gary just gave some great examples from Walmart knows how much their loss prevention is gonna have to the pizza dough place that's going to have to throw out some of the pizza dough and order some new because it went bad, right? It's like,
Hmm.
guys, there's always a cost of doing business. And then I love how you said this will be a roller coaster ride, right? Like you will ride the roller coaster, but however you ride the roller coaster is up to you, right? Like
Hmm.
Gary, for me, when I first came in, I was like,
Oh,
and then I
yeah.
was like, ooh, like, and then I was like, it was just really not good, right?
Yeah.
Now, just like you said, your level, every day you come in, you could be negative 3 grand. You could be, you could have made 15 that morning, but you're still here. You're just
Yeah.
level, right? And when we can get there, and I'm sure, you got your days or your moment, right? We all do real quick and you bring it
Yeah.
back
Oh,
down,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But you're in control when you can bring it back down. That's guys, like
Hmm.
that's when in this business, like we're good. Okay. Like it's gonna feel that way, but as long as you can get yourself back to level and then put helping people first. Like that's it. Gary's like, I was slacking last year. I didn't really like expose the opportunity to as many people as I would have wanted to, so to say. I was starting to go golfing and because I made 3 sales. Like some people will be like, I can't blame you, Gary. Where do you golf? I'm like, Gary, I hear you, bro, but like you better than that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I'm guilty of doing things like that as well. So, with that being said, guys, nobody's perfect, but like if you feel like you're slacking off, you're definitely slacking off. But be honest with yourself, just like Gary's saying he was with himself. Um, Now, hiring new people, it's exciting. You're able to get like in the, nitty gritty with them. You're able to like grind with them because you're doing the same thing, right, Gary? You're not over there just
Yep.
like you do this, you like you're selling insurance with them, right?
Yep.
What are some of the most common things that you see an agent misstep or maybe overthink or anything like that kind of at the beginning of getting started or the beginning of their sales process?
So I think a lot of it with people is like, which I did the same thing, and this is an experience thing, and I still see it, and I try to nip it before any of this happens. But it's like, hey, you got to get really good at this business. You got to do it as fast as you possibly can, and talk to as many people as you possibly can, right? I think at the beginning when I first started, Sizer would always say it's your first 100 sit appointments, right? When we were doing in homes, it's like the faster you get through that, the faster you're gonna learn, right? And everybody's got a million questions before they start doing anything. So I'm like, hey, listen, your questions are gonna be answered once you start getting involved and just dive into it, right? I was like, make the mistakes. Once you make the
Yep.
mistakes, you're gonna learn, right? That's the fastest way to learn. It's like, hey, get in the situations, right? So I think a lot of it is that. I think a lot of it is like, hey, you know, being confident in yourself, confident when you talk, right? When you talk to clients, you got to flow. So I think a lot of that is like, hey, man, you're the only one in on that phone call that actually has a license, right? And they may know the difference between term and whole life. And if they do, I say, awesome, congratulations. That's pretty much life insurance, right? It's basic. So all the other nitty gritty stuff, I try not to confuse it because people want simple, right? The little more details, too much going into it. And people are like, oh, I want to know what the compounding interest is on this whole life of A amount and this amount. And I'm like, you're confusing me. And I'm like, why do you need to tell them all that? Right? People want simple.
Right.
So it's like, and when you complicate it to people, people get wicked confused, and then they're like, "Oh, I got to think about this because you're just brought it all up. I got to look into this more. I'm not going to do anything today. I want to look into it. It's like it's not that deep, you know?
Right. hmm Absolutely. So I love that. Like, so guys, like starting with like it's not that deep. It's like it's not, guys. But if you're on the phone with your client and like Gary said, you're talking about in the interest compounds in year three at 5.24%, and then in year four, it's like whoa, 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 like we're just selling a miracle final expense. Like
Mm,
just if they die, it pays this amount and that's it. Like that's the sale. But sometimes we can just go into over talking because we think, oh, confident people over talk. No, actually, confident people do not over talk. They state what
hmm
they gotta say and then they stop. They just
Yeah.
stop talking. Like, right? So, and guys, another thing, like just like Gary said, confidence in what you're saying. Okay. Even if you're reading the script for the first time, we need you. Like everybody on this, we need you to believe in us that we're not going to put something faulty on that script. It would only hurt us, you, and everybody else, which is not what anybody's trying to do. So saying that script and saying it with confidence is going to be key. It's just like Gary, like you said, the first 100 in-home appointments, but like, remember when you would get on the phone and it's like, I don't know how your first phone calls went, man, but mine went terrible. I'd be like,
Oh,
hi, is this Gary? Like, and I'm like, you're like, yeah. And I'd be like, I'd like hang up on you. Or I'd be like, this is Marisa. And I think I'm just like, it's like, no, no, no. Like, read the script, guys. Like, just do
yeah.
yourself a favor, read that
That's it.
script and just sound confident. Like, say it out loud a
hmm
few times, right? Like, read it
hmm
to your brother, your sister, your cousin, your significant other, your dog. Read it in the mirror, but read it until you can say these words with confidence because people buy from confident people. If you even think about the last thing that you bought, you might go, I bought it on Amazon. Well, Amazon's pretty confident. I mean, they shoot out a bunch of emails. They just got me to buy something right before this call, right? So they're
Yeah.
like, oh, this item in your cart has been marked down 49 cents. And I'm like, oh, buy it, right? My whole point, guys, is they're confident, right? Like they're not confused. They got Alexa giving me updates about things in my cart being on sale. My point is, guys, but you think your last face-to-face sale, think about maybe a vehicle that you bought. Was the person confident? And if they weren't, did you just feel bad for them? And that's why you did business
hmm
because it goes both ways. And when the problem is in life insurance versus the car industry, as an example, is in life insurance, if they just were doing it because they wanted you to feel better about yourself that day, they're like, wow, Marissa's terrible, but we're gonna buy this life insurance policy. It's just gonna charge back, guys. Like you gotta be confident in what you're saying, or the next confident person is going to call them and be like Gary is gonna call them and be like, hey, this is Gary, this is how it works. A, B, C, D, boom, we're done. What option do you want? Right? And Gary's
hmm
done in 12 minutes and he's doing the app because he simplified the process. Confused people don't make decisions. And then what Gary led with on that question was when we talked about in-home, the first 100 in-home appointments, we pretty much said you'd see anything and everything. Guys, you need to run through your first 100 appointments. And in my opinion, Gary, correct me if you feel differently. It's like once you get through 100 presentations where you're able to ask them the closing question, you're pretty much going to get just about everything on the phone too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So
Easily.
it's like,
Yep.
guys, it's a transition of a process, and that's all we're doing. So just like Gary said, fast, fast, fast. Like we get it. You want to make 12 dials and be like, this is hard. No, you're
Mm,
making it hard because you only made 12 dials, right?
hmm
So I love that. And it all goes back to what Gary's kind of message on here, which is like put helping people first and everything else is going to be a byproduct.
hmm
So Gary, just to kind of wrap up the call, anything you feel like would be important for maybe a new agent to hear or somebody that maybe has been nervous to build an organization, just kind of wrapping up with some thoughts.
Yeah, that's good. I would say probably like treat it like the way that I look at it now and when I started and probably what make an impact on it, it's like, hey, if you take this truly seriously, if someone was to watch you and follow you around for a week and they were looking at you, would they take your goals seriously? Would they think that you take it seriously? Right? And it's like a lot of people, they're like, it's okay, showing up is half the battle, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna help three people. right? And this is what I'm going to do to get there. And I'm going to dial 300 times, right? 300, 400 times, right? And usually it's like, hey, if I dial 300 or 400 times, 300 or 400 different people, or dial the phone 300, 400 times, I'm going to eventually help 3 or 4 people, right? So I think a lot of times we just put that out there, and like I come in and every single time I leave the office, and it's like kind of like just mentally I look at the day and I'm like, did I do my best? Can I do better? How do I fix it for tomorrow? Right? What did I kind of lack? Was it a little bit of this? Did I do too much talking today in the office where I'm like, hey, I should have spent more time dialing? I think really utilizing your time, right? Ever since I had my kid and stuff, it's like, no, there's enough time in the day. Everybody's like, no, well, I got a kid. I'm just way too busy. No, you're not too busy. You're just not effective with your time. Right. So I think a lot of it is like, hey, this is my time. Like, and I think this year too, a lot of it with my wife is like, hey, I have to go to work. This is what I got to do. A through B. There's no, unless someone's dying or I'm sick, I'm not feeling well, right? Like, and that's really hard for me, right? Like I'm like fever and I can't really walk and I'm getting the shakes and everything else. That's the only time I won't show up. But I mean, set the standard for yourself. And if someone was looking at you and they took that you were really trying to be serious about it, I mean, that's how I looked at it, and I was just like, I just want to be better. You know what I mean? And how do I do that every single day? It wasn't like, hey, how good did I do? It's like, no, what did I do wrong? What can I do better next time?
Right.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
I don't
Go
want
ahead.
people clapping. I don't want really people clapping for me. It's like, hey, how do I get better and do better next time? I'm never going to be perfect, but I always just want to do something a little bit better. Right? It's like,
Right.
okay, was it good? I probably sounded stupid. What can I do to what can I fix? Right? Now what was good? It was what can I fix, you know? So kind of how I look at it now.
I love that. And I think that that's awesome. If someone followed you around for a week, would they take your goals seriously? That's
Hmm.
great right there. Like that's like guys, like let's all ponder on that, you know? Um, and it's half the battle is showing up, just like Gary said, debatably, the other half is actually doing the work once you show up, right?
Hmm.
And I think it's awesome, Gary, that you're looking at it from a lens of like, I just want to do better than I did the day before. Like
Hmm.
all like corniness aside, like you're like, I just want to show up and be a better version of Gary than I was yesterday. And it's
Hmm.
like, guys, if we can do that and self-reflect in a positive way, Gary's not over there saying like, oh wow, Gary, you really suck today. But he's saying, hey, today maybe I talked too much in the kitchen to too many people for,
Yeah.
that extra hour, right? And, maybe I should have been dialing. And then he's course correcting. And it's like, guys, that's life. Like, that's how you do become, in my opinion, anyways, a better person. And I think that that's amazing that you're able to do that because once we can self-analyze, like, to me, that's half the battle with ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? But like, a lot
Hmm.
of us are too scared to look in the mirror. So, Gary, I love that you said at the end of each day before you leave your office, you're not reflecting on all the things that you did amazing at, which we can
Hmm.
give ourselves a pat on the back and a good job. But you're looking at, hey, what could I have done a little bit better today? Even if it was
Hmm.
tweak and adjust something really small. Because, guys, the small little things that we tweak and adjust is really what everything comes out to be, right? So, I love that mindset. I love how, motivated you are, just like you said, to become a better version of you. And guys,
Hmm.
through this business, like when you become a better version of you, like money being the byproduct, like you see a lot more of it. And like you look at it differently. So Gary, I really just appreciate you being on this call. It was different because typically you and I would be sitting here sales training and boom, boom, but it's
Yeah.
like this is the stuff that's actually guys gonna take you to the next level. Like this is the stuff if you're on this call listening, like hear what Gary said, like you're gonna get knocked down the first 100 times. Let us
Hmm.
help you get back up, but you got to get knocked down. You can't make 12 dials, all right? This was amazing. I know I took like literally like all like 3 pages of notes and I'm going to actually read back through them. I can't thank you enough. And before we wrap up the call, Gary, just because you're in a great year, walking out of 2025, what are your goals, whether that's personal, business, both?
So for me personally, I'm going to try to hit 500,000 because I never did it. I always cleared 400, 450, 460. But I'm definitely going to hit Hall of Fame. That's like a standard. And then by the end of this year, I want to do monthly, which we're growing slowly, but I hopefully it starts taking off. Like by the end of the year, consistently doing 600,000 as a team where the team's getting paid that much commission wise.
Let's
So at the end
go.
of the year, try to monthly get to 500, 600,000 a month consistently. So,
No doubt. And I mean, Gary, no doubt you'll hit Hall of Fame and far surpass that 500. That's what you're set on. I'm
mhm.
not confused about that. And then even with your group, Gary, I'll be surprised if you guys aren't doing a million by December. You just have some
Yeah.
great momentum. Seeing y'all pick up together is awesome. So I really just appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on with us today. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for having me.